Jean Alesi in the Ferrari, taking provisional pole at one stage in the qualifying session for a few moments, but still a good sign. The speed of the Ferrari leaves him optimistic for race prospects, a little better perhaps than they might have been expected at Aida. Good chance on Saturday. Alesi in with a shot as well, confirming that with second fastest time, lining up alongside Shuey on the front row, and of course these two swapping cars next year. It'll be interesting to see who gets the better of that deal. The Frenchman, though, does appear happy with his car, in high spirits. The only uncertainty covers the weather. He, at least, is hoping for rain. For the past 2 days, he says the car's handled extremely well. Reliability is good as well, and tomorrow, from what he's heard, 60% chance of rain. If that happens, well, he won't be disappointed. But if the track's dry, he's still got plenty of slicks left to call on. So again, no problem. No matter what the conditions are, he will be giving it everything in his penultimate race for Ferrari. A damp track greets the drivers as the red lights turn off and the green ones come on for the 16th and penultimate this year race of the season. A grueling 190-mile affair. A quick start from Eddie Irvine, but no change at the front. Schumacher zips into the lead ahead of Jean Alesi, Mika Hakkinen and Damon Hill. So the grid positions remain, but first corner problems at the tail of the field for Gianni Morbidelli. Tapped from behind by Carl Wendlinger, and Roberto Moreno fails to start. Gearbox problems dropped him into the pit lane after the formation lap, and he didn't leave it. At the end of lap one then, Irvine ahead of David Coulthard, but otherwise qualifying positions remain among the front runners. Alesi in second slot, not far behind the lead Benetton, but as Schumacher demonstrates, the track very slippery indeed, and the drivers certainly having anything but an easy controversy. Suddenly Jean Alesi is pulled into the pits with a 10-second penalty for a jump start. The lights have caught him out once more. A little surprised by the penalty because starting in conditions like this on a downhill slope, he says it's very difficult to have a foot on the brake, one on the accelerator and also one on the clutch, not forgetting this isn't a road car and they're starting with something like 15 or 16,000 RPM. He says it's just impossible to make sure the car is at rest all the time, particularly the way the clutch starts to drag on the line. Jean's not alone in his misfortune. He comes back out in 9th, far away from the leader he'd been tailing moments before, but to make matters worse, it's the other Ferrari which is hit with the same problem. Berger takes of a good finishing position, but despite the bad luck, the Ferrari men are still in good form. Alesi at least working his way back up towards the lead group, running 9th and stuck in traffic behind Johnny Herbert. Finally Max makes his way past and then heads for the pits, trading the wet weather tyres for slicks. A bold move and a gamble that seems likely to pay off. As the laps go by, Alesi starts to pick up speed, closing in on the leaders. Coming back out onto the track initially, though, he finds himself bottled up behind Pedro Lamy in a rather early and perhaps rather foolhardy effort to get past. Fortunately for Alesi, results in no damage at all to the car. But Jean Todt wonders what on earth might be going on in his driver's mind. Schumacher in the pits, Hakkinen leads from Irvine, Hill and Alesi. Then the Frenchman and the Briton neck and neck. Alesi pulling off a stunning out-braking manoeuvre to go around the outside of Hill. This is the sort of manoeuvre that Alesi wins fans with, around the outside, under-braking into the chicane on cold, damp tyres. Meanwhile, Alesi almost back within striking distance of leader Schumacher, and after the chaos of the first group of pit stops, it's these two drivers who are the real focus of attention. Third at this stage, Damon Hill, then Hakkinen, Irvine and David Coulthard in 6th position. 50% of its starting numbers, spinning out, unable to rejoin. Just over 3 seconds now separating Alesi and Schumacher as Alesi puts in yet another group of fastest laps. And the battle between Alesi, there he is, and Schumacher ahead continues. So Alesi really running a stunning race, attacking hard at every possible opportunity whenever it presents itself. As he says after the race, I jumped on every chance to come back and grab a position which he felt had been his from the start. Also, he knew that Schumacher was within his reach. Maybe he couldn't have passed him, but he was going to give it everything he had anyway, particularly after such a disappointing start. And the only real danger for Schumacher at Suzuka did come from Alesi, but for the 10-second penalty at the start and that spin after the attack on Peggio Lamy, maybe the Ferrari driver might have engineered a very different scenario. After the race, Schumacher admits only to have seen red in his rear vision mirrors, but for Alesi, well, he's soon to see smoke pouring from the back of the Ferrari. The number 27 car's motor parks him prematurely at the end of the road. Once more, the V12 reduces the number of running components to less than the requisite, and the disappointment written all over Jean Alesi's face, if not perhaps quite so visible on that of team manager Jean Todt. So the battle for second place is wide open, and while the Ferrari is being parked on the grass, Schumacher comfortably leads now from Damon Hill.